That jar of organic pasta sauce on your shelf costs 22s. The tomatoes inside it cost the manufacturer about 14 cents. Not a rounding error. 14 cents. The rest of the price is something else entirely. And once you see what that something else is, you will never look at a grocery store shelf the same way again. Let's start with the tomatoes themselves, because that's almost all that's in the jar. Crushed tomatoes, maybe a little tomato paste, water. A standard 28-ounce can of commodity crushed tomatoes, the exact same grade used by food manufacturers, costs a processor roughly 12 to 16 cents at industrial bulk pricing. That's the base of your $22 sauce. Everything after that is decimal point additions, a few cents of onion powder, garlic, dried basil, a pinch of salt. The total raw ingredient cost for a premium pasta sauce jar lands somewhere between 60 and 90 cents, depending on the brand's actual recipe. So where does the other $21 go? This is where it gets interesting, because the money doesn't disappear. It just goes to people who are not the farmer and not you. The single biggest slice is retail margin. A major grocery chain typically takes 35 to 50% of the shelf price just for the privilege of placing the jar where you'll see it. On a $22 product, that's up to $11 that never leaves the store. The brand sees maybe $12 of that sale. Sounds healthier until you see what the brand spends it on. The brand's $12 gets eaten up fast. Distribution and logistics, getting glass jars onto trucks, into regional warehouses, and then into individual stores without breaking, runs about $2 to $3 per unit. The glass jar itself costs more than the tomatoes inside it. A premium glass jar with a sealed lid runs 50 to 80 cents wholesale. Then there's broker fees, slotting fees. Yes, brands literally pay supermarkets a placement fee to appear on certain shelves, and those can run tens of thousands of dollars per product per chain. Divided across units sold, add another $1 or $2 to the jar's invisible cost. Now we get to the part the brand actually controls and obsesses over: marketing. A mid-tier, premium organic sauce brand typically spends 20 to 30% of revenue on marketing. That means $4 to $6 of every jar you buy is paying for Instagram ads, food blogger partnerships, farmers market sampling tables, and the focus group that decided the word heritage on the label tested better than traditional. You are paying, in other words, for the feeling of having bought something special, not for the thing itself. Which brings us to the label, because the label is genuinely where this industry gets brilliant. And I mean that without any admiration. The word organic on a pasta sauce means the tomatoes were grown without synthetic pesticides. Full stop. It says nothing about flavor, nothing about nutrition beyond that single attribute, and nothing about the human beings who grew them. Organic certification costs a farm money, which does flow back somewhere real. But the premium you pay, the jump from a $4 jar to a $22 jar, is not proportional to that cost. Not even close. The organic input cost difference on tomatoes is roughly 2 to 4 cents per jar at scale. The other words on that label work the same way. Small batch has no legal definition in food manufacturing. A small batch facility can produce 50,000 jars a day and call it that. Artisan has no regulatory meaning whatsoever. Non-GMO on a tomato sauce is almost entirely decorative. There are no commercially approved GMO tomatoes currently sold in the United States. You are paying a premium for a label that is informing you of something that would be true of almost every tomato sauce on the shelf. That's not an accident. That's a design choice. Here's how the category actually works at the manufacturer level. Most premium pasta sauce brands, including several you would recognize and probably trust, are made in the same 3 or 4 co-manufacturing facilities in the United States and Italy. A co-manufacturer is a factory that makes the product for multiple brands simultaneously. The same production line that runs the $22 Heritage Organic sauce runs a $6 store brand sauce an hour later. The recipe differs slightly. The tomatoes often come from the same suppliers. The factory is identical. What changes is the label that gets applied at the end of the line. The store brand angle is worth sitting with. Supermarket own brand pasta sauces, the ones in plain packaging with the store's name on them, are frequently produced in the same co-manufacturing facilities as the premium brands. A 2019 analysis of sauce ingredient panels found that several store brand and premium brand sauces from the same region shared not just the same ingredient list, but the same ingredient order, which in food labeling indicates near identical proportions. The store brand averaged $3.49. The premium brand averaged $14. Same factory, different label, 4 times the price. Follow the money one more step, and you find something the organic food movement doesn't advertise. Many of the independent, premium organic sauce brands you see at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's are owned by the same 3 or 4 large food conglomerates that own every other brand you're trying to avoid. A brand that markets itself on being family-owned or independent may have been acquired by a multinational years ago. The story on the label, the farmer's name, the grandmother's recipe, stays. The ownership structure changes entirely. The premium price stays too. So what is actually worth paying for in a pasta sauce? There are small producers who do charge more because their costs are genuinely higher. They're buying from specific farms, processing in smaller runs, not hitting the volume that drives commodity pricing. The tell is specificity. If a label names a specific farm, a specific region, a specific variety of tomato, and you can verify that claim, the premium has a foundation. If the label says, inspired by Italian tradition, and the company is headquartered in a New Jersey industrial park, you're buying a story, and stories are cheap to print. The counter move here is not complicated. A can of whole, peeled San Marzano tomatoes, the actual variety, with the DOP protected designation from Campania, costs about $3.50. A can of good domestic crushed tomatoes costs under $1. 20 minutes in a pan gets you something closer to what the $22 a jar is pretending to be than the $22 jar actually is. But if you don't have 20 minutes, the store brand in the plain packaging, made in the same factory, is the same product at a quarter of the price. The $20 is not paying for better tomatoes. It is paying for your belief that you bought better tomatoes. And that's the point.